there's a lot of uncertainty, especially the Manchester City players. So now the thing is that because there's a non-committal towards Ederson and Bruyne, whether they're staying at the club or not. So because of that, right, like to be really frank and to be really honest, right, like I would say that within the City scope, they are not really worried about replacing them immediately, because to them they feel like, oh, if Ederson's gone, I still got Ortega. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Futbol Kaki. I'm your host Elder and I'm joined by my fellow Kaki bro and fellow Man United fan, Paul E. Brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Is that the Ronaldo 7?
Bro, this is when he came back.
No, but do you have the 7? Do you have the 7 behind or you don't have?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, that season was fun for the first half, then it was fun while it lasted, then after that it was just a disaster. But never mind. As you can see, the fact that Paul is wearing a Man United jersey, we are going to talk about Man United today. But before that, the Olympics is still going on, right, bro? And I think, like, as Singaporeans, we were all rooting for one guy, right?
For badminton, yes.
Yes, for badminton, right? So please, indulge us in who you were rooting for.
Yeah, Mr. Loh Ken Yew. I think he did very well.
Yeah.
Up to the point where, like, he matched the Singaporeans' best performance for a badminton player, which was the quarterfinals lah. But then it was just like this morning, right? And then he lost to Ederson. So yeah, we wasted lah. Because he actually beat Ederson before.
Yeah.
In one of the World Championships. So everyone thought like if everything goes well, he could have beat him again. But I think Ederson was just on another level yesterday lah.
But question, right? This is not his first Olympics, or is this his first Olympics?
No. He played before.
He played before, right?
His performance at the Tokyo Olympics, he didn't really go as far as like currently.
But I mean, as a totality, right, that is definitely an improvement, right? But also it's Olympics lah. Like, to me, honestly, in terms of sports, like, there's something different about an Olympic Games in terms of, let's say, comparison to like maybe a World Championship or like, let's say, a Grand Slam for tennis.
Yes.
There's just something different, right? Like, you won't categorize it as like a major competition on a yearly basis, but you consider it as more like, oh, it's very important, because to like a lot of people, right, like, it's the equivalent of a World Cup outside of sport, outside of like your normal calendar year, ma.
Because some sport, the Olympics is like the pinnacle.
Correct.
Yeah, but for football, I don't think it is lah.
No. Football is different, but it's more to do because like you prepare 4 years just to get the Olympic gold, ma.
Yes.
So it's all the tournaments that you lead up from the after post Olympics that year. Let's say, for example, after the Olympics end this year, right? All athletes are focusing for the next 4 years to get to the 2008. So it's like basically it's similar to the World Cup, but World Cup is different in the sense where, like, if the players will be preparing as per normal, right, then they only ramp up towards qualifying season. To get into the World.
That's right.
They have to handle like the Euros and everything, like. So like now ramp up to World Cup is probably gonna start beginning of from this season onwards, because they got the World Cup qualifiers and everything to start.
Yeah. And it's like 2 years away from the World Cup, so
correct. But for a lot of sports, it's just different now. It's like, especially in sports where, like badminton and tennis, right, where they are predominantly based on individual skill. Like, to win a Grand Slam, everything is based on individual statistics, right? But you win an Olympic gold, right, it's not based on your team. It's based for country. So,
and like usually it's not the case where like the best player will always win.
No, it's not.
Yeah. It's like, do you know Djokovic and Federer don't have a singles like gold? So Nadal has one, Zverev has one.
Yep.
Andy Murray has two. I feel Andy Murray, when he plays for his country, is different for when like Andy Murray plays like Grand Slam.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's sad because, like, in comparison to the big four in tennis, right? So everybody knows that the greatest four in tennis history, right, ever, right, is Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, ma. These are the big four, ma. So the thing is that even though Andy Murray, he's won Grand Slams and everything, right, and he's the only one, he's like maybe one of the two that won Olympic gold, right, it often gets overlooked.
Yeah. I think Olympic is more of a pride thing, rather than like a individual accolade, you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
But in terms of, let's say, for example, if you're talking athletics or like marathon running or sprinting, right, then Olympic gold is a different thing altogether. Swimming also is a different thing altogether.
Yeah, that is the pinnacle of that sport, you know.
Of that sport. But Olympics are this year currently ongoing, right? So do enjoy it while you can, right? back to football.
Yes.
We are going into the Community Shield this week. So officially it is the Kickstarter to the English season. EPL, of course, has this season opener every year, English football, whereby the winners of the FA Cup and the winners of the Premier League clash in the opening game of the season, so-called season, to kick off English football, right? Then from there, the EPL starts the following week in full swing. So this year, it is a rematch of the FA Cup final last year, which is, of course, going to be Manchester United versus Manchester City. The league champions, Man City, versus the FA Cup winners, Manchester United, right? I would say that both teams' pre-seasons have been interesting, right? So, to begin with this, right, bro, City look horrible. but I have this thing, right? Like, I don't fault them for it because a lot of the players are technically not playing.
Yes. Like they're not playing their full team.
Yes.
Right. Like Rodri's not there.
Rodri's not there, De Bruyne's not there.
Yeah, but the core is there, right? Like Haaland, Grealish.
Yep.
Yeah, Gevadio, Ederson. Yeah, so I do think that it's still preseason, but it's like I think this week is the last, everyone's last game here. You know, like today and tomorrow is like everyone's last games before the season.
Yeah.
So Man U is gonna play tomorrow. Chelsea, Man City is gonna play Chelsea tomorrow. So
yep.
Yeah, but yeah, for some reason, right? I don't know why the EPL teams, right, are so slow in the transfers in terms of preparation, lah. I'm talking about everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Arsenal and Liverpool, they played each other last week.
Yep.
Liverpool won that one. Yeah. So it's like we don't really have a good sensing of like where everyone truly stands at the moment. Just that some certain teams are playing their like maybe 3/4 squad. The other teams are playing half squad.
Yep.
The other teams are completely like using young team or something like that. So I think this Community Shield will be like the final teaser trailer to let us know like where like both Manchester clubs stands. I feel.
Yep, because I also do think, right, that the issue now they're facing is because there's a lot of uncertainty, especially the Manchester City players. So now the thing is that because there's a non-committal towards Ederson and De Bruyne, whether they're staying at the club or not. So because of that, right, like to be really frank and to be really honest, right, like I would say that within the City scope, they are not really worried about replacing them immediately. Honest, right? Like I would say that within the City scope, they are not really worried about replacing them immediately because to them they feel like, if Ederson's gone, I still got Ortega. I can handle.
Yeah.
I can use Ortega to use. Then after that, of course, you end up in a situation where like, if De Bruyne's gone already, right? Okay, I can place Foden at camp because I got Doku, I got Savio, I got everybody else. So to me, I would say that City, they are okay with being interchangeable with what they have already. So it's more or less like the question also becomes, right, if you win 4 in a row, where do you go?
5
lah. That's precisely the point. But where do you go in terms of player improvement? It's basically like it's a similar situation to what Bayern had or what Juve had, whereby the squad predominantly remains the same. Then they age, but the thing is that they don't have to spend a lot to get what they need to enhance the play.
Yeah. You're right.
So I don't know. What do you think about like currently Man City and where they are already, especially De Bruyne and Ederson situation?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like fans they're saying like, City is regressing. It's like, bro, they just won 4 in a row. How can they be regressing? You get what I mean, right?
I know.
It's like, yes, okay, certain players are getting older.
Yeah.
But getting older doesn't mean they are regressing, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I think like a half injured De Bruyne was like did better than most like attacking midfielders in the Premier League last season.
Yeah.
It's just that it's more of a question like how do they keep things fresh, right? How do they keep things so that fans will look at them like, they are going to be the title contenders again, you know?
Yep.
So I do feel that if De Bruyne leaves, but I don't think they have been like wanting to replace him for quite a while already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel that will be the position to look after next after they just bought Savio.
Yep.
Yeah, Ortega is good enough to play number 1 in the Premier League. So maybe they can just get a backup goalkeeper for Ortega lah. Yeah, if Ederson leaves lah.
Correct.
Because it seems like the decision is they leave the decision up to Ederson, not to the club.
Yeah. Because
Pep has already come out and said that he would love to have him. He wants him to stay, but ultimately it's his decision.
Yeah.
So it's good lah. Like, so that if he leaves, he's not on the club or whatever, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do feel that De Bruyne's issue is more of concerning than the goalkeeper lah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I in my opinion, right, because I think the original plan was to bring in Nunes to go and handle the De Bruyne position, right? But I do think that at the end of the day, right, like probably they're gonna put Foden in that position because I would say that left wing they're probably gonna utilize Doku there. Then if let's say they wanted to use Grealish, right, Grealish will probably be on the right lah. Unless they're deciding to put Grealish at Cam, but I don't think that Grealish's skill set is suitable for Cam in comparison to Foden lah. I would say Foden would be a better at the central attacking midfielder lah.
Hey, there's one more also. Because Julian Alvarez now he's at the Olympics now.
Yeah.
But he got say that after the Olympics, then he'll decide his fate at Man City. So a lot of them are like already looking to like move on, looking at their career outside of Man City lah.
I also think that it's also because one is 115 charges is still weighing on, so there's no official conclusion to that situation. That's one thing. The other thing is, so Pep also has his future is up in the air. Yeah, so I think he said that he was probably thinking about after this season, after the next season, whether or not he wants to continue on in Man City. So because of that, right, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding Manchester City, right? But I will say this lah, in spite of this, all of them are professional enough to be able to carry out their job on a weekly basis, regardless of what is going on lah. But you can't help but it's going to be a hanging threat over Man City lah. Not saying that they're worse. I would say that it's more just things that are
shaky,
shaky or non-football related, non-on-field related stuff that probably we'll see. Yeah. So, I'm going to hold my reservations about Man City now because predominantly the full team is not here. But I will say this one thing lah, like the schedule for football is insane for them. Like
that's why they be complaining for so many years already.
I know, but this one is intense because let's say for example, right, like Rodri just won the Euro, man.
Yep.
Yeah, Rodri just won the Euro. De Bruyne went to the quarterfinals of the Euro. Alvarez was in the Copa America and then he's playing the Olympics. Alvarez got no break.
Yeah, so after the Olympics, maybe they give him like 1-2 weeks, you know. Maybe he got to come. He got miss like first 2 games of the Premier League or something. Correct.
But a 2-week break in terms of a football schedule, right, that is almost close to 100 games. It's not enough.
Yeah. And somehow, if you think about it, he has not rested since like the start of last season. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas like certain players who never go to the Olympics, never go to the Euros, never go to the Copa, right?
Yeah.
They had a break since like what, May, right?
Yeah, correct.
Like mid-May until now.
Correct. Because you're talking about, let's say, for example, EPL's 38-game season. Let's say you're talking about a maximum season, right? You're probably playing about maybe close to 75 to 80 games.
Let's say you're just 38 game and FA Cup. That's all. No European commitment.
That's about 40. That's almost 40 plus.
Close to 50. Yeah, close to 50 maybe.
About 40. So it's third round, fourth round, fifth round, 6.
Yep.
Quarter.
Then depends. Yeah.
Semi.
Maybe in between you play the replay all this.
Yeah. So probably you're talking about maybe 50 games.
Yeah. But if it's like the higher ranking teams, you got Champions League, you got FA Cup, you got EFL Cup.
You're talking about close to maybe 80 plus games. Then on top of that, your international tournaments, right, is literally almost 100. Yeah.
In a year calendar year.
In a season year. That's insane. Yeah. So it's, to me, the schedule sooner or later, right, is going to compound already. I feel like they should probably set a limit or a cap for the nation. Basically saying that, like, if let's say there's an overlap between international competition and an Olympic year, right, the players can only be selected for one.
Yeah.
So it means that if you play in the Copa America, you cannot play Olympics.
Yeah, actually, it's not really a law lah. By people, a lot of people they recognize. So like Messi, Garnacho, all this they never go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think even the clubs also didn't want them to go.
I wouldn't, bro. Yeah. Garnacho is.
Why do I risk my player, right?
And but remember, Garnacho's young. So if let's say he plays too much, it could hamper his injuries.
Yep.
Which is,
you shouldn't get too injured when you're that young, you know.
Which is, I think, what's happening to Pedri.
No, Pedri was that cruise tackle lah. But before that, I think he was okay. Yeah. No, it's just unfortunate that tackle.
Is getting closer. I'm worried about like Garnacho, Alvarez, Pedri, those type of players, right? But even like Gavi also, because most of them are what, like 18, 19, 20. So the thing is that as a player, right, if you're playing over 70 plus games, right, that's the type of like amount of games, right, that most peak or prime players, right, at the top level Football Cup will be playing. So it means that by right, that's your workload at about 24, 25, 26.
Yeah. But you're already
optimal
experiencing that like
at
early
18, 19.
20s. Yeah.
So how much can your legs, your body that is still developing actually handle?
Yeah, actually, it really depends on their recovery as well.
Yeah.
If like they have a good recovery system and everything, then it should be fine. Certain players are just like fitness level is off the charts on.
Yeah, correct. But I mean, what to do? We'll see about this lah. But moving on, right? Let's talk about Manchester United lah. But before we get into Manchester United, right? Like, bro, what is your what's going on tidbit for this week? Our brand new segment, by the way, called "What's Going On." So in this segment, every week Paul always has a one unique tidbit for the week that we can share that will probably make us go, huh? What? Or ask us or make us question certain things lah. So, bro, what's going on this week?
My what's going on, right? I would say is what's going on with the United States football fields. Do you know how many players are getting injured from there? From like just playing on the United States like
Yes.
pitches. Yeah.
Yes.
This is what happens, right, when you are not growing the pitch like naturally.
Yep.
Like instead, they just have patches where they just pace on, right?
It's artificial turf lah.
Yeah, it's artificial turf. It's like, come on lah. Then like those top tier players get injured just because you play on your field, just because for that like marketing money during preseason.
No, not only
I think
that,
it's not worth it there.
Not only that, Copa America also had the same problem. Man.
Yes. So Copa America, a lot of them got injured. What? Messi?
Okay.
Messi? Do you see Messi's ankle?
Yeah, it swelled up like a ball, like a balloon. Yeah. So Copa America, right? Who got injured? So far, the ones that are notable. Just from what we understand is pitch problems alone.
I think a lot of the Uruguayan players. I can't remember who exactly that, but the most noticeable one was the Messi one in the Copa America final. Like he tried to like run to the byline, right? And then his foot got stuck in the field. And then he like rolled over his ankle on his own. And then like later the camera panned to his ankle, it was like swelled out like a ball. And that's supposed to be like his home ground because it was the Inter Miami's home stadium.
Right. So it's interesting because like in America, right, they've been known for artificial turf. So it's like the one where like, okay, when we go cage, that type of thing, it's like the beats and everything like that one, because you cannot afford to put like real grass like they do in England like that lah. But they lay out the mat and everything like that. So I don't know why they want to do this in America, right? Because the reason why we're talking about this, right, is because there's been a tournament in the US, and then Man United's preseason tour is in the US also.
Yeah, then Yoro
and Liverpool won. So the incident happened, right, is basically in 2 games for Man United, right? Højlund is ruled out for about 6 weeks due to injury because of a turf issue, right? He didn't really get tackled, right, bro? Then Yoro had a similar incident also.
Yeah.
So if let's say, for example, right, like professional players are getting injured and is ruining the fitness plans for the club, right? And they can't get a full preseason in already, right? Then it's creating a very big like question mark on certain things for Manchester clubs. I understand that it's a monetary thing also, but for me, right, like I don't know what you agree. I'm going to ask you this, right? Like, would if you were Man United and you were seeing this happen, because it happened to Kobe Mino last year also.
Yes, so I was going to say that. So it's like 2 in 2 years.
I think was Ahmad had a similar issue.
No. The most was Minu was the big one for us.
Yeah. So like, if you were Man United, right, would you consider relocating your preseason tours outside of the US and moving back to maybe like Australia? Even though I understand that the US is a bigger market.
I think it's fine because you see, like even when Man United came to Singapore, they had no issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I remember Lukaku didn't want to play.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he had the saga with the Inter Milan and everything. So he ended up leaving. I do agree. I feel that they should have reevaluate lah. Now I wouldn't say like cancel the entire tour. They should reevaluate the tour. From the Man United side, especially like the physio and the medical team, right?
Yeah.
They should voice out lah, because 2 big injuries in 2 preseasons in your country, right?
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence lah, for sure.
Yeah, and plus,
where like other teams have been complaining about the pitches. So even what's his name? The Uruguay the national coach, what's his name? The Bielsa, right? Yeah. You know, after they lost to after they lost to Colombia, right?
Yeah.
He went on like a 5-minute rant in the press conference. He said like, how the Copa America has been like staged poorly. You look at the state of all the football fields, all my players are getting injured. Yeah, then he went on to ramble like even ramble say is fixed for Argentina and everything. Yeah, but you see, even like a South American team coach, right, went on to ramble because of that. But he definitely talked about the football pitch.
And not only that, right, bro? The World Cup in 2 years is in USA.
Yes, so I'm trying to say like the World Cup in US in 2 years, the Olympics is in Los Angeles in 4 years. It's gonna be a messy show.
No,
Like,
they have to buck up, because if not, right, like, are they going to be accountable for having a World Cup with so many injuries?
Yeah, but okay like World Cup first, right? Yeah, so,
World Cup first, bro. For a lot of people, right, the Copa America was the litmus test for the World Cup.
Yeah, and it's like, how can it be, right, when MLS use like the same kind of quality,
Yeah.
It's like even the football league plays in this kind of field. Like, if as a host country, right, your pitch should be the last thing they complain about.
Yeah, correct.
Right,
Correct.
pitch and then you can move on to like security and everything lah.
Yeah, correct. So, I think we shall leave this for another time, right? We shall leave this for another time, because I think that at the end of the day, right, the US got 2 years to go and try to settle this thing, right? Because imagine, right, if let's say next year clubs are going back to the US for pre-season tour, right, and this thing happens again, it's not a good look for them. This is just this year only. 25, you have 1 year to settle this, and then the following year is the World Cup already. You got no time. You either bring in the pitchers to invest everything like that to go and settle this sooner or later lah. But yeah, that's a good what's going on this week, legit, because it's a question mark that I think has been raised for a lot of people also lah. Yeah. And it's not just as many United fans. It's like Copa America had this problem. Messi got injured, and Yoro investment got injured. Højlund also investment got injured. So moving back to Man United, are you happy with our preseason so far? Because technically we have
still too early to say, bro.
Yeah,
for me I won't say I'm not happy or happy. It's still too early to say. But I can only say that I'm very happy with one thing lah, which is the emergence of Ahmad. Like, I think Ten Hag finally realizes that he's like a crucial. He can be a crucial player.
Yeah.
And every Ten Hag has like this. He said that every year that he has been in charge, he always bring one academy player up.
Yeah.
So first year was Garnacho.
Yeah.
Then last year was Manutd. So everyone's hoping that this year is Ahmad lah.
But Ahmad wasn't really like academy though. Ahmad was like brought.
I mean, like a youngster.
Youngster lah. Like, honestly, right, he's scored 2 goals this year. He's been very good on the pitch, right, and like is very clearly raved about that during preseason, right. He's very good on that right wing, on the right hand side. He's probably the best player on the pitch, given the fact that he's had rest and everything like that.
So the worst thing is, right, last season he only had less than 10 appearances.
Yeah.
He was right under like every Ten Hag's nose all along, but he chose to play a certain Brazilian at right wing. Okay, then another player is the Harry Amas.
Yes.
That guy also looks solid as a left back.
He's still young lah.
He's still young. So I saw one of the goals that technically was his fault lah. But I think those things can be coached.
Yep.
Considering the fact that we are so thin at left back, right? I don't think we have the ability to nitpick also.
Yeah,
I also don't think we are buying a new left back.
I know. I think that if anybody is going out of the club, right, it's probably going to be a right back.
Yeah, so I think Bisaka is the one that is like in talks with West Ham.
Yes.
They're going to get Masraoui potentially. Yep. So Masraoui also can play right back, left back.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like technically another download lah.
Yeah, because like people have been talking about like Harry Amas, and then you've got Collier also. But in terms of overall like current predicament, right? I mean, for youngsters, the future looks brighter because Man United have played the most amount of minutes, given the most amount of minutes to teenagers in the past like season. So like Manutd, Garnacho already make up for the bulk of those timings also lah. So I would say that if let's say United are moving to a very United protocol, or like a new United protocol,
like
whereby
class of 92 protocol.
Yeah, it's basically like they're gonna be 25 or under for most of them.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, 25 or under for most of them. Or if they say they buy a more experienced player, right, they're not over 30. They're probably maybe about 26, 27. Yeah. So like the lead is about 24, right? If I'm not mistaken.
24, 25, I think, or 26. If I'm not wrong, I think 26.
The lead is 24.
Okay.
Then after that, Maswari is 26. So
26.
so like players like they lead their under 25, 26, about 24 going to 25, right? Then Maswari is 26, ma. So like they are moving from a very like, oh, I buy Casemiro above 30, I buy Ederson, I get Ederson above 30, I get Varane above 30. Instead, they're going younger, lah, which means that you're buying players at the teetering on their peak, or you're buying players that are going into the first team they are hungry and desire and want to win, lah. And I would say that if you were to put like evaluation overall, right, like put Ten Hag with a team of youngsters is better than putting Ten Hag with a team of experienced players that just don't want to listen to him.
Yep.
And it's more beneficial to Man United in the long run, lah. I don't know what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely under the new management they are trying to approach it in a different way. But I do feel that it will take time for us to see the like fruition of this like system.
Yep.
Because ultimately the core of the team is still the same.
Yep.
Man United's biggest problem, right, is not buying players. It's selling players off. Yes. So a lot of them are refusing to leave.
Yeah.
Despite having Man United like list them up already, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of them like Lindelof, Maguire.
Because their salaries will never be paid.
Yeah.
They're around already.
So like Anthony. Anthony is the clear one that everyone wants to move off, right? But he's been coming out and saying like, no, I want to stay.
Alright.
Bro, if someone pays me 10 times my salary, of course I will stay lah, right?
Yeah lah. You know,
and then Rashford clear. McTominay. Okay, McTominay is another one. I'm not too sure whether Fulham will come back with a better offer. They did offer for him. So their first initial bid was like what, 17 million, which I find was like ridiculous lah. Yeah, you pay 34 million for Smith Rowe, but compared to McTominay, who is like a Scotland captain and scored 10 goals in the EPL, right?
I heard they came back with a bid that was about 20 million, right? But United won about 30.
Yeah, United, they will just take 30 for it lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hope players can be shipped off soon.
Yeah, and honestly, right, as a United fan, I think McTominay would do better at Fulham. Like,
you'll be a regular starter there.
Yeah. Smaller club, but also like higher work ethic lah.
Yeah,
I think he will enjoy more. That he won't be fighting for titles anymore, definitely, right? But it's a situation that probably has come to where he has to accept that he's just not the Man United standard for what we want really lah. Where we're moving the direction lah. So, I do agree in a sense where we have to get rid of certain players because the Ugarte deal is being held up because we cannot get rid of players.
Yep. Which is quite sickening to hear lah.
Yeah. And the delete thing is also thing because what's happening is that you are paying players way over their value, right? Like basically, like, you know, the Gea, right? Do you know the incident, the recent one? He was offered a contract by one of the clubs, right?
Spanish club, is it?
I can't remember who lah. Like I think it was Girona or something like that.
Yep.
I'm not sure whether was it Girona?
I'm not sure. I read it was a Spanish club.
Yeah, one of the clubs lah.
Then what was the issue?
Salary.
They cannot match him, or he don't want.
They cannot match.
Then he don't want to accept.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is like the potential like clawback when you give players high salary.
Yeah, correct. It was Girona and Fiorentina. So I mean, like, when you give players a high salary, right? And to be fair, the Gea was worth it at the time that he was given, right? But the problem is that the decline is so far off, right? That he cannot expect the same amount of value anymore. I love DDG, I love you, right? You were probably, to me, the best goalkeeper and the key guy for Man United for a period of time. But I think you got to move your reality down a bit.
Yeah, it's like you only got that money because of poor management. Like, to be honest, United could have given him like a fixed base salary, right? And then like performance bonus, and so on and so forth. Like, so they will incentivize like players to work harder. And
correct.
Yeah, so which I feel that everyone should be on that scheme, you know. Like even Salah is on that scheme.
Yeah, correct. And it's a problem because like even if you wanted to do that now, right, with your intervention 50%, nobody's gonna accept a 50% salary pay cut.
Yep. So you can't do that because the contract is binding, you know?
Correct. So essentially, that's the biggest problem that United have. Like, it's basically a salary issue, lah. So I would feel that the only way you can do this, right, is probably, to me, lah, is you got to basically put the players that you don't want, you put them aside already. You focus on the team that you want.
Then the others can just rot.
Yeah. Then the ones that you don't want, just you're aside. I'm trying to get rid of you. You don't want to leave. I'm going to put you aside. I'm not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
Then it's either a wake up call to them. It's like, oh, you wanna play football? Then you're going to do this. If not, then okay lah. basically telling them that, okay lah, since you're saying you're not about money, right? What are you going to do when you're just literally sitting there on 300k a week? I was doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so it's like the same case as who are Phil Jones,
Yeah lah.
Martial,
Correct.
and currently I think it's like Lindelof and like Anthony, all this lah.
Correct lah. So it's ridiculous lah. Like to me, it's just nonsensical. So I think we're gonna move on from this, right? So to close out this week's episode, we are gonna do our match predictions, right? I think overall, because it's still preseason and a lot of the players are coming back, I don't think they will play the full squad in the Community Shield. I think the full squad probably will come in probably maybe the second week of the EPL season. Closer
Talking about Man U or talking about both
I
teams?
think overall.
Because Bruno is... The Portuguese players are back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the English players are not back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. As in like certain... Like Man U, like Rashford all come back because they didn't even go the Euros.
Yeah, but the English players for like Man City.
Yep.
Like Stones and Foden.
So are we starting a fresh new season for predictions? Will this be the first fresh
this will be the
24-25
This will be the first fresh prediction.
Alright.
So this will be the first fresh.
So like what's at stake this time? Same lah. Is it the same?
No, let's up the stake.
Let's up the stakes. Let's go.
Like $100.
$100, okay.
Or you wanna go higher than that?
Bro, okay on, bro.
Right.
As you know me, I like to take risks.
Okay. I think what we're gonna do, right? Let's just go $100. Let's go $100, right? And you must remember, right? This is irregardless of competition. This is a total evaluation of the thing, right? We are predominantly talking about EPL football, yes, but we will also talk about Champions League, FA Cup, and all the various competitions, right? But this is like $100 for the whole prediction year. So this is gonna last from
until May
next year.
Okay, let's do it, man.
But if let's say me and Paul decide to up the stakes and it goes more than $100, we will update everybody, right? So, by the way, Paul already has his gift. We're not going to reveal it to you yet. When we
Sorry,
do our
not gift, gifts.
Yeah, the gifts. I
From
have lost
which
two.
one? From the EPL predictions.
From the EPL predictions or like our season predictions, right? Plus, of course, we also got the Euro predictions. Euro predictions. I got robbed because Mbappe had a horrible Euro.
That's right.
I know one thing. Oh wait, but we will do our prediction, right? We will reveal what basically Paul's gifts were next on the next episode, right? But since we are starting a new, right? So it's a clean slate. It's 0-0. Paul, what's your prediction?
I have to be very careful about this. Okay, in terms of preparation, I do feel both teams are roughly the same.
Yep.
But I am going to go for a Man United win.
Okay.
I will try. Yeah. I want 2-1.
2-1. Okay. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go Man United 1-0.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a safe thing at 1-0, right? But then again, right, I'm probably gonna lose this because I'm not confident in Man United's defense.
Yes. Then you could have gone for a City win.
But I do think that Man United against Man City somehow something just happens.
Yeah.
So I'll stick to 1-0 lah. I'll stick to 1-0.
Bro.
I'm playing the long game. If I get this wrong, right, at least I know I got a few things up the thing. I got till me to decide. Yeah, bro. I think that's it for your predictions. That's it for predictions. You got anything else yet?
I'm looking forward to watching football again. Finally.
Yes. Finally, again, back to the normal time is stipulated. So yes, this game is this Saturday on the 10th of August, 10 o'clock Singapore time, the Community Shield. So do keep a lookout for that. And that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki. Alright, so that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Chatter Podcast Network. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, we just want to say thank you, and we hope that you continue to support the Chit Chatter Podcast Network and, of course, our other shows, which, of course, are the Copy Bros every Monday, involving everybody from the Chit Chatter Podcast gang. Usually, sometimes involves Paul, sometimes involves me, Tin Yong, me, and Brendan, where we come together and talk about unique and trivial topics. Then, of course, if you do like game shows, we do have our flagship game show, the SG Draft Podcast, every Friday, where we come together and draft about different topics. We've drafted superheroes, we've drafted music, we've drafted sad songs, we've drafted heartbreak songs, we've drafted food, we've drafted almost literally everything that you can think of, but we also have other stuff that we hope that are coming out that you haven't thought of yet. So do keep a lookout for that every Friday. And then, of course, you have us, the Futbol Kaki, every Wednesday. So from me and Paul, from everybody here at the Futbol Kaki, we hope that you have a great week ahead. Enjoy the Community Shield. EPL is coming back the following week. And to all our fellow Singaporeans, Happy National Day.
Ooh, red.
Happy National Day. Wear red and wave your Singaporean flag proudly. So have a great week ahead. See you soon. Bye-bye.